Topic 7, Lesson 5, Dividing Decimals by 10, 100, or 1000. Today you will mentally divide decimals by 10, 100, or 1000. And we will use our place value patterns, just like we did when we were multiplying by 10, 100, and 1000. I'm starting at the top of page 178, so get your books open. All right, so it says dividing decimals by 10, 100, or 1000. And here's the question. How can you divide decimals by 10, 100, and 1000? Let's use this little problem here to help us. Chandra wants to cut a cloth into 10 strips. All the strips should be exactly the same size. How wide will each strip be? Okay, so being that they need to be exactly the same size, I'm going to circle that. And she wants to cut it into 10 strips. Okay, that helps me know that I'm going to be dividing. And it says right here, divide to find equal parts of a whole. Okay, and this strip right here shows, the total length is 89 5/10 centimeters. Okay, so on the next page, at the top of your next page, it says find 89 5/10 divided by 10. So knowing that it's division, we should know the number should be getting smaller because when we multiplied, it got bigger. All right, so we're going to be moving the decimal point in a number to the left to decrease the number's value. All right, so if you look at the examples over here, 12 5/10 divided by 1, okay, well, you're not moving it at all because anything divided by 1 is itself. Okay, dividing by 10, you'd move it one place. Okay, so it's getting 10 times smaller. If you divide by 100, it's getting not 2 times smaller, but 100 times smaller, which means you move it 2 places, okay, to the left. And then dividing by 1000, it's getting 3 places smaller, but in other words, that means 1000 times smaller, okay, because there are 3 zeros. That helps me know how many places I move it. But a common error is to see that it says 3 and to say 3 times smaller, but it's 1000 times smaller. All right, so let's apply that with our guided practice on page 178. Get your notebooks ready. It says in 1 through 6, use mental math to find each quotient. Okay, so we don't need to show any extra work besides showing the swoops and how we are dividing. Okay, so 370 2/10 divided by 10. So I know it's getting 10 times smaller, so I move the decimal over one place. Okay, so my new answer is 37 and 2 hundredths. My bad, 0 tenths, 2 hundredths. All right, let's do number 2. 126 divided by, and 4/10 divided by 100. So I notice there's 2 zeros, which means I'll move it 2 places. 100 times smaller. So we go 1, 2. Okay, and that shows that we have 1 and 264 thousandths. Okay, number 3. I'm going to do it, and then I want you to pause, and I want you to do it yourself first. Okay, so pause now. All right, so you should have paused and did move it back. 1, 2, 3 places. So now we have our answer of 6,845 10,000ths. Hopefully that's what you got if you move the decimal 3 places. All right, so do the remainder of these, 4, 5, and 6, and then listen for directions on what to do with the rest of them. And keep in mind, okay, as you're dividing, the number is getting smaller. If you have to use a placeholder, let's do number 6 real quick. So for example, in number 6, I noticed that it's dividing by 1,000, 42 5/10. So I'd move the decimal 1, 2, 3 places. If you notice, there's nothing here, right where that 6 is right now. So I have my decimal, then I have to put in a placeholder, and then I have to put in my numbers, same digits, 4, 2, and 5. Okay, so I end up having 425 10,000ths. Okay, so keep that in mind because that's a common error that people make sometimes. Go ahead and finish out number 4 and 5, okay, and then move on to numbers 7 and 8. You'll have to look at the story problem above that we started with, okay, and then listen for the rest of the problems you need to do. Good luck, guys. Do your best.